All right. Well, I'm super excited. I'm with Michael Rager with Teach Your Business to Fish. And Michael, I'm really glad to have you here today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Moose, well, I guess we want to go to the personal side here. That's where we want to start out. Well, originally from Detroit, moved here to Houston in 2001. I actually was a partner, and we sold the company, and I was the asset they bought. So brought me here. I was in the oil and gas business, and if you remember 2001, 2002, my biggest client was Enron. So things didn't stay good for a long time. We brought it here, got that going. Everything was well. I got out of the oil and gas industry probably about 8-9 years ago. Got married, have a son. I think you've been around since he's been born, so we've known each other that long. He just turned 8 the other day.
I think that's about how long we've known each other, about 8 years.
Yeah, something like that. So, but yeah, I love the outdoors. I'm a fisherman, hence teach your business to fish. I got a master's degree in trout biology. It really throws off people when I go into meetings with lawyers and business owners, and they say, "What formal training do you have?" And I said, "Trout," and they kind of think it's funny, and but I happen to teach them a thing or two. So that's
how did you get into coaching in the industry?
Sure, I got in the industry when I left oil and gas. One of the things that I saw was there was a very severe lack of leadership and communication from the white collar guys down to the guys driving the bulldozers. So I tried to get into communication and stuff like that, and I started some businesses of my own. I spent some time working with Primerica Financial Services, and I needed some help, and I had an opportunity at one time to open a dive shop and a fly shop in Belize. My wife's from there. And so when I was doing all this stuff, and I went in and I found a coach, and I found this coach, and we're like, yeah, we started working together, and he goes, you know what, you need to come work for me, because my wife told me I wasn't going to Belize, and I wasn't going to spend 9 months there without her. I kind of thought that would have been fun. I don't know about you, but I would have probably had a good time. But I just started coaching, and I started getting a passion for small business owners, understanding the trials and tribulations that they've gone through, knowing that I've been somebody that started a company or partner in selling a company and sold it, and understand all the things that happened. So
I think that you're formally trained through John Maxwell. You have some of that background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. John Maxwell started the John Maxwell team about 7.5 years ago. I had met John about 3 years before, and I was one of the people that was early invite into the John Maxwell team. I ended up being a founding member. I'm a partner in the company. I don't know what that means, except I've probably paid a lot more money than other people to John. But the training's good. There's really good stuff, and it gives me the ability to teach some really good content. And I use that a lot for bigger companies that I go into. So more the corporations than I do the small business. I still try to weed it in there every once in a while, because everybody needs to be a better leader. And I think that's a really important thing. So
Teach Your Business to Fish. What a great name. How did you come about with that?
Usually, like all my good ideas, there's whiskey involved. We were just sitting out on the boat one day. We were talking, and I just started looking and talking to a friend of mine that happened to be a captain, and we started talking about business and how it went. And he's like, "Man, you need to teach businesses how to fish." And I said, there it was. It was born, and it's really funny. I have a tendency. I read a lot, and I read a lot of business magazines, but I also read a lot of fishing magazines. And I think you were at a recent seminar of mine, and I held up a copy of, I think it was Sport Fishing Magazine, and said, "What is this?" And every time I read stuff on fishing, I start looking at it as client attraction and how to run business and stuff like that. And I just look at a lot of analogies. And that's what I do, is I use a lot of analogies in teaching people on how to catch clients, how to move their business. But there's a lot more behind the business of fishing and actually running a boat. You got a boat that's got to run. You got to get to where you got to get to, electronics and avoid storms and all this stuff. So we kind of
hence, I guess, the business guide.
Yeah.
Versus a business coach.
Yeah. I think coach is getting overused right now. And I think in order to be a coach, you have to have done it. And it was really, really funny. The other day I was driving down 610, and there's this psychic there. And they actually changed their sign that says now psychic and life coach. So that just really gets me to the point that I can kind of really understand where coaching's coming from. I think it's just become a buzzword. And I think the reason I go with guide is As a guide, I've been there. I've done it. You know, I've been in a successful business that we sold and we made money. Had another one that we made a crap load of money very, very quickly, but we were dealing with Exxon and they reneged on the contract and didn't go as well as we wanted. We made money, but we didn't make as much as we should have. I've had ones that have lost money. And I look at a guide, their job is to take you safely from the beginning to end and help you there. And I think that I've got enough experience of good, bad, and ugly that I can offer some things that other people haven't. And, you know, I see business coaches out there and I've met them that have never run a business. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of hard to understand how you can actually do that.
How does strategy play into this for a small business owner, a solopreneur, and even, you know, a small business with, you know, 5 to 15 employees?
Well, I think strategy is the most important thing. One of the most important things, because we've got to figure out exactly where we're going. And I was talking to a guy this morning, and if we don't know where we're going, I think Stephen Covey said you got to begin with the end in mind. And the analogy I use a lot, and it goes off of fishing here, but it goes into building a house. You know, you and your lovely wife, let's say Lisa came to you and said, "Hey, Moose, I want to build a new house." And you go, "Okay, well, what's it going to look like? You know, where's it going to be? Why is it going to be this? How much money are we going to spend?" You know, once you're there, then you can put a strategy in to build it. And what I see is most business owners haven't thought about what the end of that house looks like. They just said, "Hey, I've done something for a long time. Maybe the guy I was working for was kind of a jerk and I want to get out and I want to start my own." But they never look at anything else. It's just they create a job for themselves. And it's a lot of times it's a really stressful job, and it's a job that costs a lot more time. So we have to have a strategy to get to where we want to go. And if we don't do that, we'll not end up where we want to be. We've got to put together a map, and we've got to get to where we really want to go.
Or do you find companies or individuals reluctant to make changes? When do you know a business is ready to make a change and have you come in and guide them?
Sure. I think it's once, especially with us guys, I think it's been a lot easier in my career to coach women and help them get there. They're really up to listening. But I think guys, our egos get in play, and we've got our ego in check and where we need to be. I think something, you know, drastically has to happen, you know, where things go. And even if it's just even making a change, you know, coach, I had a guy recently came up to me and he goes, "Man, I was in this coaching thing and I'm paying a lot of money for it, and they're running me ragged and it's going to kill me." He goes, I don't see my wife. I don't see my kids. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that, and I can't do it. And he goes, "You know, I'm getting burnt out." And my thought was, as a coach, my job is not to burn you out. It's to help that candle, you know, get brighter and flame. So, you know, we need to come in and look at where we want to go and, you know, kind of go there. So hopefully I answered your question in a roundabout way there.
Yeah, I get it. So people that want to take it to the next level, they realize that they're not doing it.
They're not doing it, you know. We don't really do the 30-second speech in our NIA like we do in a lot of things, but there's a couple, you know, groups I go to on a regular basis. When I give my 30-second speech, my question is how many of you guys own a business? And they all go, "Ooh, me." How many of you guys can take a month off and the thing still works? Hands go down immediately, you know. So then my response is, well, you really don't own a business, you own a job. Mm-hmm. And we want to go there. And there's a very big difference between owning a business and owning a job, you know. That business allows you time to spend time with your family, to go on vacation with your kids, to do the things you want. If you got a job that you're working 80 hours a week just to keep afloat, it's not a business. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's the things we try to fix and help.
Awesome. What type of clients are best suited to work with you?
One that has money in their wallet. No, I like I like working with past startup range. You know, I love startups. Don't get me wrong, but it's really hard. You know, they don't have money, they don't have resources, and there's always one or two that I'll take on and I'll coach for free or coach close to free to help them. But I really prefer companies that are doing at least $500,000 in revenue. You know, that have thought about going forward. I really like that $2 million, $3 million in revenue because they've seen it. They've gone through some hard times. They've gotten beat up. And they want to go there. But, you know, industry, I've coached everything from medical practices to real estate agents. I've been doing a lot with real estate agents lately, builders, stuff like that. So the industry doesn't seem to matter because business is business. You do the same things. And business owners like to think they're different, and their business is different. And yeah, it's what you do is different, but the structure and basis behind the business is all the same.
So you guys put together strategies, obviously, that, you analyze a business, where they are currently, a roadmap to where they want to go, and then that plan, if you will, that strategy that you guys put into place.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's going there. It's funny is a lot of businesses will come to us and say, hey, I need a better marketing plan. I need to do something. I need to get leads. And we find out it's usually there's something in operations. There's a lot of times we can have a bigger impact on fixing operational stuff than we can on a marketing plan and changing things, because that marketing plan costs money and it's time and it's certain things. And one of the things that's kind of interesting is you can increase profit more with an operational changes, raising prices, renegotiating contracts, stuff like that, than you can in marketing plans. And with a startup, yeah, it's all marketing. But if you're an established company, what I find and what I see is people get into a place where they're complacent. They forgot what they were doing that got them there. I just had a guy the other day. We were sitting there and he goes, I used to do that. I used to do this with my clients, and I used to do this. And I go, what did it do to you? And he goes, I made a ton of money. And I'm like, why don't you do it anymore? I don't know. So what do we got to do to put it back together? Well, we got to do this. Okay, good. Go do it. And, report to me next week on how it goes and where we're at and what do we need to do. And those are the kinds of things that we do to really help, especially on the profit side. That's more helpful.
Well, if you're not profitable, you're not going to stay around, very long. So what are the best ways that, that you help companies increase profits?
Profits, number one is generally raising prices. It's funny, the mom and pop companies have been around 6, 7, 8 years. They haven't raised their prices in 4 or 5 years. What happens is we're in this society now that everybody thinks we need to be Walmart, and we need to be the lowest price. We need the lowest price, and as companies, we got to get them to quit discounting. When you discount, you're taking it right off the profit margins, and you can't do that. There's nothing wrong with making a fair profit for the value that you add. So, it's just really getting people to understand those numbers. If they understand their financials, we can increase profits really easily. Like I said, marketing is usually the second or third thing we look at.
Marketing.
Yeah, marketing second or third. Prices, and.
Well, I think a lot of I come from a radio background and spent a career in that industry and a decade in digital. And, a lot of companies don't have budgets that will allow them to sustain a marketing campaign, because in today's society, catching somebody when they need something, you've constantly got to be branding. You've constantly got to have your name out there. But what is the most effective way? And, a lot of companies, they'll say, oh, I like the person, so I went ahead and bought, and not measurable on the result. And at the end of the day, it's all about results.
It is. And it's what you got now with the digital age, and we got this with the internet, is most people are not looking to buy from you today. They start searching, and they get there. When they get you and they contact you, it's you've got to put a drip campaign on them. We've got to be giving them quality information. And the funny thing is most people that sell advertising and marketing campaigns are really horrible at writing it. They're really good salespeople, and they sell people a whole bunch of junk. And it's amazing what we see. Yeah, it is important to be top of mind, because you need to be. Most people, when they look to buy something, especially a bigger price. Let's say we're going to do some home remodeling, for example, and we're looking for a contractor. We need to give information, not just I'm good in pictures. Pictures are nice before and after, but like one of the best marketing campaigns that I've helped a company use is, here's the top 10 reasons why people sue their builder. Here's the things that are going wrong. Let me know. So I'm giving you valuable information on what you should be looking for, not just me, but my competition, and do that. So if we can give that information out and then constantly give, information every week or two, it can keep us top of mind when it's time to actually buy.
I'm sure that there's a difference between A-rated companies and, people that are not highly rated. What's your picture of the perfect company?
A perfect company. I think as a business owner, I want a perfect company where me as the business owner, I don't have to be there 40 hours a week. Mm-hmm. And every business owner I talk to, that's utopia. That's where they want to be. I want to put together a business that I've got to be there regularly, but I've hired good quality people. Mm-hmm. My general manager, my leadership of my organization is very good. I'm paying my people a good wage. My people are more important than my clients. Mm-hmm. And I think we go back. You and I, Moose, we're older than 30, and we used to hear that your customer's always right.
Yeah,
and that's not true anymore.
Yeah.
It's your people are always right, mm-hmm. especially if you give them the ability to make changes and do the right thing. If you treat your people well, mm-hmm. your people will treat your customers well. Mm-hmm. And so I want to help companies build companies where their employees are valued, where they feel like they're home, that they've got a sense of community. Mm-hmm. You hear now culture. Culture is a big word. There's a great culture, and people are actually fighting to work there. I think that's the important thing.
So you have been part of networking groups for many, many years, and you've been a part of the Network in Action Memorial Park when I launched mm-hmm. in April of 2018. So what's that done for you?
Honestly, I'm going to be really honest with you. Before Network in Action, I hated networking groups. I really did. The other big one here, I got sick of going there every week. I got crappy leads. Right now, things will look like within this year, we'll probably do about $12,000 of business related to, being directly into Network in Action. And I see that doubling or tripling next year. And I think part of it is you're gaining that know, like, and trust with the people, and people are beginning to trust you. And, we just had a lady in our group, Carla Schwab, came out to me and said, hey, we need to put together an event for all these people in my group. And so we're going to, looking at June, putting together a big event for people in the real estate industry. Philip Hammett, I think he refers me to everybody in the world. We're helping him, really grow his company. And, mm-hmm. Louisa, we're doing stuff with her. So it's great. It's I didn't join the group to do business with people in the group, but it's great that some of them do trust me enough to do that. But, they are referring me out. And
Pamela Cortez also.
Pam, had me come in and speak at an American Society of Interior Designers event. One of my biggest new clients came from Jessica McCreary, that we went on a fishing trip last year, and she brought a builder, and the builder threw up all on the fishing trip. It was hilarious. And the whole way out and back, he threw up, and he called me about 3 months ago and said, hey, we need to talk some more, and we want to talk more about that stuff we talked about in the boat. And about 6 weeks ago, he hired me as his coach. And so it's really interesting. Mike Hamill, he's part of our group, and mm-hmm. I think he hired me before he even joined the group. But it was kind of fortunate that he actually knew other people that I knew before he came in, and we didn't find that out till right away. But so it is when people trust you, it helps, and you just got to get out there and work it. So
that's really true. 80% of life is showing up. And you've done a great job at showing up at all the additional networking events that we've had, from the Coffee Click to the happy hours mm-hmm. and things like that. So I'm grateful of your being a part of Network in Action mm-hmm. Memorial Park, and anything that I can do. That I'm going to have your back, and I'm really glad for it.
I'm telling you, this guy he's alive. He saved me 2 weeks ago. I had an event, and I was supposed to get in, and there was supposed to be a TV available, and there wasn't. And I had an hour and a half to find a projector and a screen, and here comes Moose, flying in like underdog. Here I am to save the day.
Awesome. Just glad to be able to do it.
But it's good if anybody's watching this, you haven't met this guy. He is the salt of the earth, and he'll help you out in any way possible. And he truly does care. So that's a good thing. And it took you a while to get me to join. So it did. But I think it was just the other groups you were trying to put me in. I wasn't the right fit, mm-hmm. and this one was. And when it is, and you like being around. So I appreciate it. I can be a pain in the butt sometimes. I voice my opinion, and you listen, and
that's what a good business guide will do.
Well, nobody pays me to be nice,
right? And I'm a business owner as well with Network in Action. So, anything else that you'd like to share with the audience out here?
Well, it's business coaching is important, I think, but we do fun stuff. If you just want to go on a fishing trip with us, we do that. We got some coming up. We're going to go snapper fishing and tuna fishing. Hopefully do a cast and blast this fall and, do stuff like that. But, reach out to us, and that's a good way to get to know us and see what's going out. Have some fun. If you've never been on, we took Jessica last year. We had 2 ladies catching 50-pound amberjack, It was amazing.
That's
come
totally
out, catch
amazing.
some big old fish, and it's a good time. We'll make sure we do it on the day when everybody doesn't throw up. Make sure
there you go.
It's a little smoother out.
There you go.
But
Michael, we really appreciate you being here today. Thank you very much for your, being a part of our Network in Action family, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for chasing me down for I think 3 years and making me finally join.
There you go.
You break me down, buddy.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Thanks.